Listen, why are the girlies coming for Nene? I thought this was super fascinating, so I had to come on camera and read these tweets. Shout out to fellow YouTuber Ashley Miller. I've been watching Ashley since I was like in high school, okay? Love her down. But listen, she's commentating onto X or Twitter about this whole Lanithia Leaks and Bethany Frankel situation. So remember yesterday we talked about that interview, that podcast that Lanithia Leaks did with Bethany Frankel of the Real Housewives of New York City. And she is, you know, steady airing out her grievances from some of the things that happened in years past regarding Bravo and Real Housewives of Atlanta. And Ashley the Miller went on to X to express something that I have been feeling in my heart and in my soul for years at this particular point. And I would love to get you guys' opinion on it. She tweeted, Nene is really out here giving people traffic and views to their podcasts and shows instead of making her own YouTube show or podcast that she can start by herself. Make it make sense. She's out here giving people traffic and views and money to their podcasts and shows instead of making her own YouTube show or podcast. Nene, for a year or two, has been saying, I've, been reached out to and have been, negotiating podcast deals and talk shows and this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden I was blackballed and nobody wants to work with me. And I just kind of feel like, why do you need a podcast deal to do a podcast? Now, a podcast deal is nice. Okay. They put up all the money up front. They get you studio time. They get you a producer. They sometimes can get you ads. Most times get you advertisers, stuff like that. They put you on their podcasting feed. You get a bunch of views. They give you a salary, a paycheck, and you work and they pay. But my whole thing is, if that isn't the case, if you can't get a podcast deal, then you do what I do. Okay, you get your camera, you get your microphone, you get another microphone, you book your guests, you get an assistant, you tell them to mock up a brief for your show, and you do it. And then you build up an audience. You already have a built-in audience. You're one of the most popular, most known Real Housewives, not just of Atlanta, but of any franchise. And so people are going to flock to whatever you're doing. So my whole thing is, why are you on Carlos King? Why is you on Bethany Frankel? Why is you on Larry Reid? Why aren't you doing your own shit? Now, she started to way back in the pandemic with the, remember it was the Girls and Gays show, the Reading Room, the Reading Rainbow Room. Okay, remember that? Yes, that was supposed to be Nene doing her own thing, and I think she had an assistant helping her out, and they were doing this, that, and the third. But then we never heard from it again, okay? Funky Dineva and the rest of the blogosphere ripped it to shreds because it was kind of trash, no tea, no shade. And I don't think she should have ever released I think it was like a teaser tester, not a teaser, but like a tester. They were like testing a chemistry test and whatnot, trying to see, okay, these guys work together and these people are funny and these people are not. Trying to, I guess, audition for who she wanted to be on the show. She ended up releasing that clip to the blogs, which I thought was the worst idea from a PR perspective because it looked a mess, it sounded a mess, it was a mess, and you don't release nothing to the blogs that are a mess unless you're trying to sabotage it. So yeah, Miss Miller's on here talking about why isn't Nene doing her own YouTube, her own podcast, her own show, instead of driving traffic and views and clicks to everywhere else. Ryder responded and said, Nene is great on camera, but she needs a team to help her get the podcast off the ground. All you need is one producer and an assistant. And the producer can play as an assistant. She needs one producer / assistant. That's all she needs. That's all you need is one employee, one independent contractor to help you get a microphone and a camera and get your podcast started. It really is not that hard. Nene, you can contact me. Ms. Miller responded and said that's a laziness because she has the means to get a team. Big Bok Choi said we want her back on our TV screens though, okay? He said fuck the podcast, fuck the YouTube channel, right? We want her back on reality television. The 110466 wrote, she was never the best at business moves. She was always lazy and wanted things handed to her. I wouldn't expect to see her putting in the work to get her own thing going unless she has a team to do it for her. Do I think Lanithia Leaks is lazy? No. But does she have the discipline and creativity to start this from the ground up? It seems not. Y'all gotta let me know how y'all feel about everything. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day.